Hello, hello. I am Dan Salem. I am live on the BuzzChomp YouTube channel. Realized I forgot to put up my fancy picture with Dak Prescott on it, so we'll have to do that afterwards. I'm here to talk to you about the NFL live NFL debate every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm also going to go live on Facebook. That's what we do. And 3, and 2, and 1. Hello, hello. I'm Dan Salem. I'm live on Facebook at the Dan Salem, over on the BuzzChomp YouTube channel, and at the Dan Salem on Twitter. Oh, dropped a great Instagram. We're about to go live and talk about the NFL. This week's topic, because I guess there are 2 preseason games left for each team. Yeah, 1 or 2, depending on their team schedule. Who's going to start hot and who can actually maintain it? Now, I took a picture of the Cowboys because I feel like they notoriously start hot and then can't quite maintain it. and I'm a New York Jets fan, but I'm lots and lots of Giants fans. So that's dear to their heart that the Cowboys kind of just fall off. Now, they didn't fall off 2 years ago. They fell off last season, but they also had their best running back suspended. That being said, who starts hot and who can maintain it has a lot to do with scheduling and who's injured to start the season, right? So you'd like your team to start healthy, but that's not always possible. So, yeah. So most people, I got my beverage. I was asked recently if it's a requirement that I have a beverage for this live stream. And you know what? If you're not drinking at least water, you're going to get parched. Now, this isn't water, tea. But still. Hi. Want another grape? Here you go. I'm sharing. So let's take a peruse at week 1 because I'm excited. It's about 2 weeks away. Thursday, September 6th. Almost exactly 2 weeks away. And we can look ahead. There's 2 more preseason games. There's one where the rookies and people compete for roster spots get to kind of like play for position. So as a Jets fan, this is a big week for Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, if Darnold wins the starting job, great. Kind of think he'll start week 2, 3, or 4. I'm leaning towards the first Jets home game, which, they're not home to start the season. They're at, yeah. They play Monday night and they're at Detroit. I knew this. I knew they were at Detroit. So I'm leaning towards they'll wait and he'll start the first home game so that he won't start week 1. But Bridgewater, he's going to get half the game this week, and he might be trade bait, especially for a team like Buffalo who just lost a quarterback. Now, do they trade him within the division? That's another debate and stuff. As for week 1, we get the kickoff game Thursday night between the champion Eagles and the Falcons. Now, the Eagles are at home. They likely win that game at home. That hurts Atlanta. But Philly could be with a hobbled quarterback, either of their quarterbacks. Let me run through the home teams because home field advantage is a huge advantage, especially week 1 of the NFL season. Week 1 tells lies in the NFL. The first month tells big lies. Lots of teams start 4-0, and at least half of them won't make the playoffs. It's just how it goes. 4-0 is only 4-0 if it means anything. I've been there as a Jets fan. So the Browns are a home team. The Colts are a home team. The Dolphins are a home team. Those are 3 bad teams from last season. The Vikings and Patriots and Saints all play at home. Those are 3 good teams from last season. The Giants are at home. They were bad. The Ravens are at home. They were so-so. The Chargers and Broncos are at home. They were so-so. Arizona, Carolina, Green Bay. You get the picture. There's a real mix of good and bad teams home. And then Detroit and Oakland are both home on Monday night. My gut is that the majority of these home teams are going to win. I could actually see Cleveland winning its home opener and breaking the streak, even though they are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of talent on that team, and Tyrod Taylor's no slouch. I don't know if I believe in the Pittsburgh defense. But so, who's getting off to a hot start? the Colts are winning at home against Cincinnati. They could see I could see a hot start for them. I could see a hot start for the Saints at home against Tampa Bay. Same with Baltimore at home against Buffalo. These are teams that are going to win at home and kickstart their season and like kind of streak. But these are all these other teams that can maintain it. Now, I don't believe in the teams I'm not mentioning. I can see the Chargers getting hot early. It's also fair to say that warm weather teams get hot early. And because when the cold weather sets in, they're not as good at it. I don't know if Dallas is going to win on the road in Carolina because Carolina's a really good team. But they both had a full month to prepare for one another. I like the Jets on the road at Detroit because I don't think the Detroit Lions are much of a team this season. The Rams on the road at Oakland I like too. So the key to hot starts is maintaining it, right? What do you want? I'm live. Do you want to join me? Do you want to see yourself live? Okay. I also dropped a grape. If you want to find it, it's on the floor. Okay. So see, we're live here, and we're live over here. Two audiences. Nope, that drink is for me. You can have water. If you want to say hi, you say hi. All right. So hot starts. The key in the NFL is whether or not you can maintain it. I'm going to put you down. You want this grape? Here you go. And history says, I mean, how many teams? Can I see this? Like, let me look at last season because the numbers are bad. Like, the Patriots got blown out last season, week 1, and they went to the Super Bowl. Who else got spanked? Oh, Pittsburgh's at Cleveland last year to start the year. That's funny. Any other anomalies here? I mean, Tennessee made the playoffs and they got beat at home by Oakland. Green Bay, Seattle, that was like stalemate game. Actually, it's ironically the teams that won week 1 of last season, outside of like 3, were all better than their opponent. I mean, Kansas City wasn't bad last year. They spanked New England, so that was an anomaly, right? Buffalo beat the Jets, and Buffalo made the playoffs. Atlanta beat Chicago, and Atlanta made the playoffs. Baltimore beat Cincinnati, and they were an infinitely better team. Pittsburgh beat Cleveland, and they were an infinitely better team, made the playoffs. Detroit beat Arizona. They were a better team. Oakland beat Tennessee, so that was an anomaly. Tennessee lost at home. They were a playoff team. Philadelphia spanked Washington. Jacksonville beat Houston. The Rams won. Green Bay and Seattle that was like a stalemate game. Green Bay won, but neither of those teams they're average. Carolina spanked San Francisco, and they were a playoff team. Cowboys beat the Giants, and they were better. Minnesota beat New Orleans, and they were better, both playoff teams. And Denver beat the Chargers. Neither team was great. So I like to say week 1 tells lies, and yet the teams that won last year in week 1, it actually followed suit, but that they were better all year and at the end of the season. Now, maybe that's a coincidence. If we actually look at the records, can we look record by week? That would be tough to pull up, huh? I mean, week 2, you can see that things start to diverge. And this is where you get the opening month streakiness of things, right? So obviously the Eagles went 1-1. The Patriots were 1-1, and those are the 2 Super Bowl teams. The Saints were 1-1, and that was a big playoff team. Minnesota was 1-1, and they were in the NFC Championship. So the hot start, the winning streak to start the season doesn't mean a whole lot. Pittsburgh was 2-0. Jacksonville was 1-1. Or were they 1-1 or 0-2? I mean, the Rams were 1-1. Seattle was 1-1. Atlanta was 1-1. Oh yeah, what happened? So maybe last year is a bad example because I think we're going to see similar BS this year. The teams that won week 1 had a month to prepare, and whether they were on the road or not, the winning team was ultimately better at the end of the season, right? But then by week 2, most of these teams were 1-1. And so it didn't really – you don't see such a separation until October. that make sense? So that's why I like to point out these hot streaks. I like to call this out. So week 2 of this season, Baltimore has a chance to go 2-0 because I think they'll win week 1. Carolina and Atlanta, those could both be 1-1 teams. The Chargers at Buffalo. I don't think the Bills are going to start so hot. Who's going to streak out early that is fake? I mean, Cleveland's at New Orleans, so they're not likely to win 2 games in a row, even if they manage to beat Pittsburgh at home. Then the Jets are home week 2, so maybe that's Sam Darnold start against Miami, who's got a questionable defense. Pittsburgh, Kansas City. I could see Pittsburgh streaking early. They play Cleveland on the road, and they play Kansas City at home. Two teams were unsure. Pittsburgh's got strong offense. But I don't like Pittsburgh for the long run this year. So that could be a real interesting hot streak going cold. New York at Dallas week 2. That's Dallas's home opener. I just feel like somehow the Cowboys are going to start hot and fall short. Maybe the Raiders too. No, that's Dallas, Oakland. See, Oakland's home Monday Night Football week 1, and then they go on the road at Denver, so they could be 2-0. And I'm not particularly high on on the Raiders. A lot of these look like tough matchups week 2 for the teams that could win week 1. Like Chicago could win week 1, but then they got Seattle. Arizona's got the Rams. Cleveland gets New Orleans. Jacksonville, New England will be a tough AFC matchup. Giants, Cowboys. And the NFL starts hot. These are tough. So let me look back at week 1. I mean, anybody with thoughts on this, who's really going to streak ahead, and does it matter? Because we know every win-loss matters, right? How much does it can it really affect the long-term success of your team over the course of a season is the question. I question whether the team let's use the Houston Texans as an example, because everyone's really high on them, especially with Deshaun Watson coming back. They have to play at New England week 1. That is more likely than not a loss. Then they have to play at Tennessee week 2, which is a divisional game against the playoff team, but they could probably win. Can they win? Can they go 3-1? And then is that sustainable? Houston gets the Giants. And then then they get the Colts. So Texans could conceivably be 3-1, right? However, they're not in a best position. Then they have to play the Cowboys, Jaguars. I guess their schedule is pretty weak because they were so bad. They end the season with the Eagles and Jaguars. That's really going to hurt their playoff chances. They do play the Jets, Browns, Redskins, Broncos. So a hot start. Maddie, don't cry about the Texans. It's okay. A hot start from Houston could kind of carry them forward. But even if they lose week 1, don't read too much into it. Hi. There's a grape on the floor underneath me. You want to find it? So how about the Falcons? Because this is these are teams that are teetering on will they be good or will they not be good. And I don't know. They have to play at Philadelphia to start the year. That is a likely loss. Then they get the Panthers at home and the Saints at home. That they could be 0-3. Does that spell the end for Atlanta? Or with Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Giants, Redskins, Browns, do they rebound into that stretch? Because I could see Atlanta starting 0-3 with those 3 games. That's not out of the question, because I don't think the Panthers and Saints really lost much on offense. And Atlanta, have they picked it up enough? Maybe they are. Maybe they have. Maybe they're 2-1. So this is what's fun right now, because anything's possible. And since I'm not a fan of these particular teams, we can kind of just pick and choose and prognosticate. Let's circle back around to the Cowboys, who I picked on to start this conversation. Because they tend to start hot, right? So they're at the Panthers, then they get the Giants at home, at the Seahawks, and then they get the Lions. So that's their month of September. I'd say at worst they're 2-2. They could be. I'm not too high on the Seahawks, but they will be at home, and I think that they beat the Lions. They get the Giants at home. That, in principle, should be a victory. I don't know how good the Giants will be this year, up and down. Panthers on the road to kick off the year. I mean, they could start 4-0. Don't get me wrong. They could start 4-0, and then they have to play the Texans and Jaguars, who are difficult. They have a stretch against the Eagles, Falcons, Saints. So there's a 5-game stretch in November through early December where it's Eagles, Falcons, Redskins, Saints, Eagles. Assuming the Eagles and Saints are still good, and the Falcons, I mean, they should have a good offense. That's a tough run for Dallas, and they seem to get submarined in November. So their schedule is shaping up for a hot start and then a downturn in November. However, they end with Colts, Buccaneers, Giants. Unless the Giants are really good, that's 3 winnable games at the end of the year, which could push them right into the playoffs. So you could really see as a Cowboys fan, way up, way down, way up. But it depends on if they win a couple of these questionable games. I have Ezekiel Elliott on fantasy, so I am rooting for the Cowboys in that regard. We are doing a wins pool where we pick teams, whoever gets the most wins. But I started with number 1 pick, Patriots. Cowboys haven't gone yet. We're almost 10 picks deep. I would assume they'll be off the board soon. I guess we'll see. So back to week 1, because this is where the fun begins, right? Who else gets a hot start? Who else is at home? Because I really think home teams have the shot here. Now let's look at my LA Chargers, because I think that they could really win the AFC West this season. And they play the Chiefs to start the year. Now they're at home though. That's a tough game. You're at home, but the Chiefs, the young quarterback, I think they should win that game. Then they get the Bills, Rams, 49ers. Bills is definitely a winnable game. The Chargers should be 2-0. At Rams, I mean, they're not really traveling very far, but I don't know if the Rams are a better team or not. We'll find out. And then up the coast to play the 49ers and Raiders. Or no, not up the coast. Sorry, at home against 49ers and Raiders. This will be a good test. But the Chargers could start hot. I could see them being 4-0. See them being 5-6, 7-0 because they got Raiders, Browns, Titans. Now, they likely lose one of those games. And if we're going to pick one, it's going to be the Rams or 49ers, right? But they could be 6-1. And that's like, whoa, for the Chargers. How does the rest of the schedule play out? Nobody really jumps off the page to you. Yes, they have to play the Steelers and the Chiefs again. The Steelers and then the Chiefs again. And they have to play the Ravens. But nobody really jumps off the page. So a hot start for the Chargers could really carry them forward through the season. I'm not like thinking anybody in the AFC West is super difficult. So I can think the Chargers can maintain their hot start. All right. Let's pick one more team out here that probably won't maintain its hot start. Everyone's high. Hi. Love you. Everyone's high on the Green Bay Packers. Should we dare pick them? Maybe we'll do the Arizona Cardinals because they play Washington at home to start the year. They should beat Washington week 1. They should start with a victory. I think that with Sam Bradford, I think they're a better team. I know Washington's got Alex Smith. I think Arizona's got a better team. David Johnson's back. But then they have to play the Rams. Then they get the Bears, Seahawks. I'm not that high on the Seahawks either this season, so I could see them being 3-1, Arizona. So say Arizona starts 3-1, they lose to the Rams or Seahawks. They're at Rams. But I think they will beat the Seahawks. So they're 3-1, right? They beat the Redskins, Bears, and Seahawks. Now, then they have to go to the 49ers and go to the Vikings. That's tough. It's real tough. They also have a stretch later in the year: Chargers, Packers, Lions, Falcons, Rams, Seahawks. So Arizona could start hot and be like 3-1. They could teeter down to like the just above 500 level, and then the end of the season is going to submarine them with Packers, Lions, Falcons, Rams, Seahawks. I don't think they beat the Seahawks on the road to end the year, especially if both teams are like especially if Seattle's halfway decent. Seattle wins at home. They got home field advantage up the wazoo. So, like, that's a team that could start hot, and I don't see them maintaining it. Who else? Anybody else that jumps off the page? That's probably good for today. This is fun. As you can tell, I'm excited for week 1 of the NFL season. It's only 2 weeks away. I mentioned it last week. Should have said it at the top of the show. But regardless, we at BuzzChomp, myself, are transitioning this format to a live 3-person debate. The Section 323 podcast team, Phil Sember, Bud Seaman, will be joining me live to debate the NFL after week 1. So our first live show will be Tuesday, if I can get a calendar up, September 10th. Crap. I'm guessing. It'll be the Tuesday after the week 1 concludes. We will be live debating, the 3 of us, in a forum. We'll be sharing the links ahead of time. You'll be able to join us and voice your opinion, ask your questions. I will also be live on Facebook, don't you worry. I'm not sure if I'll get the 3-person shot or if it'll just be me talking to them, and then the video will go up on YouTube after the fact when our call ends, and I will publish it for everyone to see, and I'll share it on Facebook and what have you. So that'll be exciting. New format this season. I don't know if I'm going to get another live stream in prior to that happening. You know what? I think I'll be able to do it Tuesday before the season kicks off, because next week I'm tied up. But the week after, I might be traveling too. I got 2 weddings I'm hitting up. This might be my last live stream solo on YouTube before we join the group setting, which is kind of exciting, which is why I'm mentioning it again. Don't worry, I'll tell you. You'll figure it out. It won't be difficult. We'll be live on Facebook, and you'll have to watch after the fact on YouTube. It won't be live, but no worries. I'm Dan Salem. I am still going to be live Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, every Tuesday throughout the NFL season, but this is likely my last preseason live stream. And then we will get things going after the season gets going. At the Dan Salem, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, over on the BuzzChomp YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will talk to you soon. Can't wait for the new season and the new format to kick off. Woo!